I'm here with Memo Salazar. He's going to tell us about Boy George Michael Jackson Browne, which is available right now online, so you need to log on and check that out after you check me out. Memo, tell me, as an independent filmmaker, first tell me about your company first, and then tell me a little bit about this film and why online. Why'd you go that route?
Well, I've been making movies for about 10 years, I guess. Zimix Productions is the company, ZXIMIX Productions, which doesn't mean anything. But I had done a feature film before on film, shot it on film, spent all my money, and that, went through like the typical going through film festivals, sending checks, running around, trying to get people to come to your screening, all that stuff. And it's a lot of energy and a lot of time, a lot of money that you kind of throw in, and you get very little results unless you're one of the lucky people to like sort of connect, and it can be very political and so on. And so I thought when the internet came out and everybody started getting email, and then like people started having websites and so on, I thought, well, this is like the best way. What better way to like reach just people than to just make a movie for people, because that's really the whole point of it, is just, I want people to see it, So I thought I'd just bypass like the whole film festival thing and just make a movie for people. And then that was in 2000. We shot Boy George Michael Jackson Browne. I was done in around 2001. I think it came out early 2002. But back then there wasn't really an online community like there is today. So the idea was to shoot like a 2-hour feature, but it's told in episodes. So like when I wrote the script, that was part of the structure, was that it was in different episodes, which is basically what video blogs and podcasts are, except there wasn't such a thing as video blogs and podcasts. So now, years later, all of a sudden, like there's this whole sort of online world, and people have iPods and all this stuff that's totally tailor-made for that kind of a thing. So a filmmaker from Brooklyn, Aaron and Susan, actually filmmakers from Brooklyn, Aaron and Susan, contacted me. They have a very successful podcast called Four-Eyed Monsters. Okay. And they told me about, what they had done, and they said they'd found my film, and they thought, oh, you should do something like that. It would be great. Found you. They found me. They totally, they discovered me somehow surfing online.
For example, we've discovered Memo Salazar, who did a podcast, or actually it wasn't a podcast, but it was like an episodic web-based series, and he's an amazing filmmaker. And we saw it, like, it was just buried somewhere. And we were like, dude, you got to put this on iTunes. Like,
kicked off the dirt.
Yeah, like, people are ready for this now. They weren't ready for it then. They're ready for it now. So he's one of our favorites.
They liked it, which is always good to hear, and so they said, well, they had a lot of success doing what they were doing, mostly because it's pretty new. And so they were, like, breaking new ground and doing something that nobody had seen. And it got a lot of film societies and people into film excited and so on, and I was totally oblivious and out of that loop, and so when I went to check out their podcast, I was like, oh, this is pretty exciting, and then I spoke to them and so on, and so it was pretty cool. It was like, oh, this is basically what I had thought of, trying to do like 4 years ago, but there was no such thing, and so now, there's a whole sort of structure out there. So now I basically am re-releasing the film. It's called Boy George Michael Jackson Browne.
Which is about?
It's hard to describe. It's a surreal comedy adventure in 24 episodes. And it sort of is this sort of free-flowing isn't right because it's totally scripted. So it's not like we just got up and took a camera and figured out where it went. The whole thing is very structured, but the plot goes all over the place. Characters come in and out. It's very jumps through all genres. There's animation, there's musicals, there's comedy, action. It's just it's kind of bizarre, but at the same time, it's not weird in a confusing way. I think it's weird in a very accessible way. So people, for the most part, really love it. Some people really hate it, and for me, as long as I'm getting some kind of reaction, I'm happy. So it's done really well so far, and you can get it through iTunes. You can watch it through MySpace, and so far it's done really well. People have really responded to it. Way more than 4 years ago when it first came out. So it's sort of like it was sort of waiting to happen, so now it's sort of finally found its audience. So it's kind of exciting.
Now the online audience is much, much bigger than the whole film festival audience. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, you've got the entire world. So, which is what's so great about the internet. It's just sort of makes a level playing field. I mean, obviously, if you're a TV station, you can advertise your stuff online or on TV, and so you have a little more of an edge. But even so, word of mouth counts for so much on the internet. that it's wonderful. If people like something, they will tell other people, and if people don't like it, then they won't tell other people. I mean, it's very sort of democratic that way.
In this hectic, fast-paced world, who has time for something new anymore? Who can sit down and take 5 minutes out of their busy day to watch the most innovative and exciting show to ever hit the World Wide Web? Who has time to expand their mind with something different? Something that doesn't insult your intelligence? Why, you do, of course. Boy George Michael Jackson Browne, coming soon, right on your own computer, absolutely free. Find out more at www.foolfactory.com.